This is my 8th attempt making this video in the past 2 days. This is going to be going over the reason why I don't want to make Paladins content on this channel anymore, and why I'm just in general mad at Paladins right now. I'm not quitting Paladins. Number one, getting that out the way first. I'm sticking with this game. This game is one of my favorite games. I'm not just going to go and outright abandon it. Am I going to disagree with a lot of the things the developers have said? Yes, I am. And if that is a problem to any of the developers, honestly, I do not care. I honestly do not care if you have a different opinion than me. I do not care if you get offended by my opinion and my criticism and what I have to say about this whole situation. I do not care. I know that this would potentially burn any kind of future bridge I would probably have with Paladins if I continued making content for Paladins, and I am okay with that. I am not going to tell you what the hell happened in the past 5 days. This YouTuber, I will link his videos in the description. Cyberbolt has made a video called The Real Reason Why Paladins Will Never Succeed. As you know, Cyberbolt was a... why am I not subscribed to him? Cyberbolt was a previous AOC member, I believe 2021. And in this video, he tells us a lot of the reasons why he himself doesn't play the game as much anymore, why he disagrees with a lot of the developers say, and why, in general, he thinks the game is going to fail. Not fail in particularly, but not succeed like it once was back in the day. Like him, I've been playing this game for a long time. I've been playing since 2018. And, yeah, honestly, I'm not going to show any of the video in this video, as I want to keep this video in just me. I'm the spotlight. But I will link his video in the description for any of y'all to watch. I recommend y'all do watch this video. It will also be in an iCard if I ever figure out how iCards work. Anyway, so I believe, depending on when this tweet was released, I'm not sure. Let's say a date on it. It doesn't say a date on it, but this was like after. But first, I would like to show you this. We gave Cyberbolt a chance to be nice, and he took that chance and just monetized. He doesn't care about anybody. This was an Evil Mojo dev on stream, 2023. I can't exactly click on the clip. I will have future editing Rune go ahead and play the clip, so that y'all can see what was actually like said. Hey, future Rune here. I couldn't find the clip, and it wouldn't let me download the one from Cyberbolt off of Twitter. So, yeah, they deleted the original VOD. I'll explain more at the end of the video. But for now, get back to watching Fast Rune. But, basically, this was the first of many tweets that happened in between Twitter. And knowing Twitter is a toxic place, and I don't go on it anymore. But, yeah. I'm covering this tab, what was all said. Do high-res developers typically tell their players to F off? And basically, it is Montreal Patterson, Evil Mojo Trail. And basically, Cyberbolt explains how the only one who would try to actually do stuff and try to mend relationships in between Evil Mojo and the AOC, or Cyberbolt specifically here. I don't know if he's meaning only himself or AOC here. was Hi-Rez Romanova at the time. That's Romanova now. And honestly, Romanova's cool. I love Romanova. She was one of my favorite developers on Hi-Rez's Evil Mojo team before she left, and I'm glad that she does not. I'm glad she's not working on Paladins anymore. Because this toxicity has shown me what kind of a workspace Evil Mojo is. I'm not so sure if any other high-res developing team is any way like this. But I know specifically for Evil Mojo, what I'm seeing right here is telling me a lot of stuff. So Montreal Patterson, after having this tweet, he basically retweeted, says, "Cause you were also gracious." I don't know how to say that word. I am stupid. Before that, oh brother, remember all this? This guy kicked the games way years back. Cyberball, I have to give you one criticism real quick. Screenshot better. Honestly, I can understand most of what they're saying, but trying to say it is messing up with my mind. Basically saying seeing this on his timeline is straight up pissing him off. This is the first red flag. This is my first red flag of any developing team. When genuine criticism flies off, lack of fun from Hi-Rez, some Evil Mojos are a-holes, just screenshots, some players defending emo saying it cuts off again. Is there any way I can like zoom up the image? No, this is literally just what it is. But basically, if you, as a game developer, are telling your players, people who genuinely care about the game, people who want the game to be better, to F off, then in my honest opinion, you should not be part of that team. Now, this one dude, Montreal Patterson, because this is all just Montreal Patterson, Evil Mojo Trial, saying this stuff. This is mostly his tweets, mixed in with a couple of player tweets and Cyberbolt. This is showing me what kind of workspace that Evil Mojo is. Because if you are going and telling your player base to F off because there's some genuinely good criticism here, like a fun from Hi-Rez, Paladins doesn't get as much funding as Smite. And doesn't get as much funding from a lot of the other games that Hi-Rez has. Like, I believe there was a point in time where Rogue Company was getting more funding than Paladins. Definitely Realm Royale for a bit was getting more funding than Paladins. Smite right now is getting more funding than Paladins. Some Evil Mojos are a-holes. I honestly can't say that for myself. I personally had Hi-Rez Nico respond to my tweet whenever I was trying to do a video saying Barrack. I'd like to humbly apologize to you, Hi-Rez Nico, that Barrack video never came out. It was too complicated for me at the time. But, yeah, seriously, some of you people must have nothing to do with lives to behave this way about a dang video game. Grin and bear while you shit talk our coworkers. Really. Because this game, right now, I don't know if you work on any other games, but your thread is Evil Mojo Trail. This game is your livelihood. And you're just telling the people who give you money, by the way, us, the consumer, play this game. We, buy skins, buy battle passes, buy mounts, buy sprays, buy death cards, buy death stamps, buy all this stuff, buy your freaking hero your freaking champion, freaking starter kits, buy your freaking chest, buy your crystals. We're funding you, and this is your living. This video game is your work. How you have a place to live, how you do all of it. Unless you do something else, then I don't know about that. But from my guess, this is your job. You are telling basically the people who fund your livelihood and how you fund whatever you do, fund your house, fund your bills, fund your electricity. You're telling him that you must have nothing else to do than critique our video game that, it's a video game. Video games are open to critique. People critique Blizzard and Overwatch. People critique Activision and Call of Duty. People critique Hi-Rez, Smite. People critique Brawlhalla. Not as much as others with Brawlhalla, because Brawlhalla community, they'll just say this, and then the devs will be like, oh, okay, we'll do it. That's a good example. Brawlhalla developers. Brawlhalla developers never really do that. Actually, there's some Brawlhalla developers that go and defend the players all the time. I see a lot of the Brawlhalla developers go and defend players and all that, and agree with players all the time. They listen to their community because Brawlhalla loves their game and they can respond to criticism. I'm not saying that Paladins developers don't love their game, but Paladins developers do not know how to handle criticism. Cyberbolt's video had screenshots of whenever Paladins developers were presented an idea and they knew that they had to implement that idea. They would literally say, we're implementing this, but we hate it. There is sometimes where an exception is made where, the game developers actually do genuinely know what they're doing, saying, hey, no, you players will not like this. Removing payload was not one of those. Bringing back payload after gaslighting the entire community that we do not want payload back just proves a lot that, hey, we can't really say that you guys know what you're talking about. You literally spent resources on a entirely reworked item shop just to throw it away 3 months. I didn't like that item shop system. The whole point of Schisms was to bring features, and none of those features are still here today, are they? The item shop, that siege game mode, that literally, I actually thought that siege game mode was cool. That it could be rotated with the actual, or put in either a separate queue, or be rotated with, like how Overwatch does their games with their quick play. They can just be rotated into different types of game modes. That's what I think Payload should have been doing. Have Onslaught and TDM on their own queue, and then Siege Beyond, that the Payload cart one, not the item shop. The Payload could have been on their own Siege queue. Kind of like what Overwatch does. But no, you spend resources on features that only stay there for about 3 months. And then you can't even keep your promise because the end of the Schisms, you just brought in, instead of the third one, you just brought in Siege of Ascension Peak instead of bringing us a whole new thing. So you can't keep your promises because you say you're going to do that all year. You waste your resources on things that are not even going to be there anymore, when you should be fixing bugs, game crashing bugs, to be honest. A lot of the players crash so often. Like with Paladins with Nintendo Switch, I had more crashes on that than I've ever had with PC or Xbox. Xbox, I would still have crashes at least 2 times per play session. Those play sessions would be like 3 to 4 hours with Narky. Me and Narky would crash, and it would suck. Me, Narky, and Chaos would just freaking crash, and then like, yeah. And there was this. I don't even know if it's still patched. If it's patched or not. I never had this bug personally. I don't even know if it's patched or not. But there's this game breaking bug that if you crash, you couldn't even log into the game for hours. So I would love to say that the game developers of Evil Mojo love Paladins. I am actually, in fact, going to say that, but they don't know how to handle the game. And they don't even know how to address anything like this at all. And if I, whenever the face cam and the actual, like, screenshots, if the audio changes at all, uh, I didn't, like, set up any of the other audio stuff on the thing scene, so if it's slightly worse, I apologize. But going into this now, he even tells another player of the game, Ken and was taken, representing the company as well as always. Great response, mate. To him saying that and that. Here you go with this crybaby bullet BS. The second a dev actually directly addresses y'all's cries for attention, suddenly we have to be professional. You are representing a company. You are representing game. If you go and basically call your fans and players crybabies, call your content creators and like all that, like just basically they don't know what they're talking about. We do. A lot of us know what we're talking about when we get annoyed with game crashing bugs. My apologies. Game crashing bugs, stuff that is not being fixed or added to the game that would literally fix a lot of stuff that we have problems with it, and it's not even that hard of a thing. If Brawlhalla can do it, Hi-Rez and Me Evil Mojo can do it. Honestly. And you're just over here just saying to us that we don't know what we're talking about. Some of us have been... I've been playing video games for most of my life. I've grown up on COD. I've grown up on Minecraft. I've grown up on Terraria. I've grown up on Paladins, even. I've been playing this game since 2018. I'm 17 right now. That was like, what, 2023? That was, what, 5 years ago? I've been playing this game since I was 12. So I can say I've grown up on this game. And you going and saying to the people who support you, support your game, try to put up with the devs' BS themselves, because y'all have some BS too. And going back to the Cyberbolt video, the AOC, what's the point of having an AOC if you're not going to listen to them? If the AOC has to debate you on a little stuff, like adding a freaking notification, say that people have disconnected from the game, it's not that hard. Like, why is it such a big issue all of a sudden? What's the point of having AOC when you're not even going to listen to the community at all? It's a zero-sum game for us. We just have to grin and bear it. God forbid we want to have a regular discourse with the players. No. Put up with the horse and be nice to us. The same point as you are representing a company if you have the title of Evil Mojo Trial. You have Evil Mojo in front of your name on your Twitter. Yes, you have to be nice. I work at a fast food place, and some customers are mean to me all the time. Do I go yell at them back? No. I be respectful, because that's a way you can lose your job. I don't know what how toxic the developers and the studio of Evil Mojo is, but if I'm getting responses to this on Twitter, I don't think I can support the game anymore. And let me be clear, I'm not quitting Paladins. Telling your people who keep you wonder why you guys don't get fun down. It's Cyberbolt, please screenshot your tweets better. I beg. But basically, yeah. This is oh my god. And now we have this. We have off chance of more people to see this tweet. Here's what they've been with. Wow, I couldn't read. Guys, newsflash. Rune can read. I know, it's a surprise for all of y'all too. I can read. And the off chance more people see this tweet, here's what they were responding to. Dev threatened to remove the returning game mode as a joke and then locks their account. A different dev threatens to report people / ban people over harassment claims. I don't need to be indirect. You guys need a reality check. Stop playing the game if this affects you this much emotionally. All that snide BS with the, oh, don't harass the devs doesn't fly here. F off, go play something else seriously. Do you want people to go and bully you? You've seen that happen to Scott Cawthon. Back when that whole FNAF controversy with him donating the stuff was happening. Donating to political people. People literally doxed him. People literally decided to get pictures of him and his family, I believe. Do you want that happening to you? No, you don't. Then why say... why? Here's the funny thing. Why say this then? Oh, don't harass the devs. Doesn't fly here. Do you want people doxing you? Do you want people harassing you? Do you want that? Because last time I checked, nobody wants that. I don't want to be doxed. Cyberbolt doesn't want to be doxed. Probably other developers and Evil Mojo don't want to be doxed. They don't want to be harassed either. Why would you say that? And here's another instance of telling a content creator, a member of AOC previously, 2021 AOC, to F off. You really want people to take your game seriously? Do you want that to happen? Then why tell your community, the people who fund you, so you can live a at least stable life? You know, not go into poverty. Why tell people to F off? Now, the comments here are sort of I'd get a load of this guy moment. Yeah. Get a load of this guy right here. Because, like, literally, what else are you supposed to say to this? Like, why do these developers think it's okay to treat their player base like this? So, I have come to a final decision, and this was replicated into a poll that I had, because I've seen stuff like this all the time in Paladins. See, there is a poll I can find it. You know, I gotta scroll down on my community tab because I make like 3,000 community tab posts a day. Let's see. I made this specific poll. When I do come back, this was 2 months ago, whenever I took my break. When I do come back, still no date confirmed. Sorry, would you like to see a different style of content or the same Paladins style content? I was getting tired of Paladins. It wasn't the game I was getting tired of, because believe me, I can go on listing a lot of the stuff that is wrong with Paladins. It was really the toxic studio that, and I'm not saying that all developers are toxic. From the interactions I had with Nico has been really nice to me. Sorry I didn't make that beverage video. But, and then there's like a couple interactions I had with Nico just responding to my tweets. He's never been rude to me. And that's like the only virus developer, except for, well, yeah, Thunderbrush also responded to me a couple times because I said his art was cool, and he's like, "Yo, thanks." But for me seeing this stuff, and as well, by the way, this is a lie. The JK about this, lol, it's a lie. You know what? I'm gonna delete it, lol. Yeah, delete it. Bye bye, it's gone. Delete it on thing. Yeah, you can only see it in this video. Oh. But yeah, back to serious. Back to serious because this is a serious video. I'm just sick and tired of seeing it. I've seen it with a lot of game development studios already, and hell, not on the same degree, but Mojang is doing the same thing with the whole like system of like blocking, or it's this whole something. I'll link an IBX Toy Cat video that explains it more properly in the description. With parentheses, I mentioned Mojang for 2 seconds. But back on Paladins, I don't think I want to make Paladins content anymore. At least not edited style on the main channel. When Raccoon Live comes out, I will make live streams of Paladins because I'm still going to play the game no matter what. But for content of Paladins anymore, do not expect any more montages. Do not expect any more An Idiot Explains. Do not expect none of that. I will not be making Paladins content anymore on the main channel. And to the Paladins devs, if any are seeing this video, which is highly unlikely, do better. Record out. You lost a very valuable member of your ever-dwindling team. Another is on thin ice. Your company's reputation was damaged yet again, and the players are furious. Why did all this happen? Evo Mojo has a serious problem with player feedback. Excluding recent hires and a few other devs, the studio has continuously proven that they refuse to cooperate with the player base, even when forced to. That is the main reason why Paladins will die. Let's get one thing straight. You inherited the Titanic of FPS games, loved by many, but ultimately doomed to fail. And with this in mind, knowing the game's future looks bleak, you choose to work on projects that only benefit yourself. You use Paladins to pad your resumes until you move to Smite or take a role elsewhere. Don't deny this. Former colleagues agree. You have coasted by with this behavior for several years. Only now, when things look grim and you lose staff members, do you start to listen to the player base. But even then, you still push things nobody asked for, like remounting a terrible decision which is likely to be removed. A balancing nightmare. Anyone could have told you this. Instead of spending your time and limited resources in quotation marks wisely, you choose to work on pet projects. You add features and change things without consulting the player base, and you remove things you personally do not like. Every AOC member can attest to this. These controversial decisions are not made by higher ups. They haven't been for a long time. The higher ups don't tell us, I didn't like that, so I removed it. You did. The decision has been made by the studio for a long time. The people working on the game right now are solely responsible for its success. Your parent company will not provide you with more funding because they know that you use their game as a test chamber. The players aren't dissatisfied with your personal behavior, although telling them to F off and threaten them with the removal of payload doesn't help. They are essentially it's a word I can't read. Dissatisfied, but because you build whatever you want on top of what's already there and leave a mess behind. You do not take your player base concerns into account unless you have no actionable items left. And even when you have nothing left on your gyro board, you still push your own ideas into the game without asking the player base first. Many of you working on the game don't even play it outside of short internal test sessions or in controlled environments, and it clearly shows. And from what I've been told by former employees, it's been like that for a long, long time. A recent 2021 example proves that you don't play as much as you say you do, is you didn't know that you could gain credits at the end of the round, despite the game displaying pop-ups and playing sound. An example of this from a while back would be how you were all in awe over Vivian's crystal spinning in her gun, which has been a thing for several years. An example, wait, your studio and the game are in free fall due to the poor choices made by those that come before you. The truth doesn't absolve you from responsibility, though. You have had several years to fix things with the player base. Instead of following this very simple request, you gaslit, lied, harassed, and even slandered some of the player base. You told us you couldn't do things because you didn't have the resources, but end up working on more resource intensive projects anyway. Your attitude towards the player base is why the game is doing so poorly. What transpired over the past few days proves that what was said here and in my video is true. Nobody has come forth to say anything about the claims made in it. I'm not looking for an apology either, but the community deserves one that isn't corporate or half-hearted. People that ran their mouths didn't care about what others had to say, and look what that resulted in. I worked with you for a year straight without any issue. I supported you even if we had beef. I know more about the studio than I let on. I speak for the entire community when I say this. Thousands agree, you don't listen. Play your goddamn game and get your shit together. Cyberbolt. And they also, from another tweet, Cyberbolt, they completely deleted the VOD from the stream where they were basically saying that Cyberbolt did not care about anybody. I know this isn't the end of the video and it's shoehorned in the end, but this literally just came out like an hour ago while I was recording it. Um, so yeah, take that at what you will. I have nothing more to say on the matter. No more Paladins content on the main channel. Peace.